If junk food was a movie, it would be the type of film that is Van Helsing. I have a soft spot in my heart for junk food films, and as I have been sick for the last several days, I have been diving into the bottom of the bag, so to speak, and I found myself once again watching Van Helsing. Now, I am not going to BS you and tell you that it's the best film ever made. It is, however, a good movie to watch when you are trying to fight off a cough. We start the movie with Dr. Frankenstein awakening his monster and getting a visit from his red-robed patron, as a horde of pissed-off Bridgerton extras hammer on his door. In a panic, he explains his plans to leave, but Dracula has other ideas in mind for his creation. However, in the end, the good doctor perishes as a result of trying to resist the inevitability of his Faustian bargain, and his monster hauls his corpse to the top of a windmill that the angry Bridgerton extras proceed to light on fire, where, at last, tragically, the monster falls into the flame. A year later, we find Van Helsing, played by Hugh Jackman, tracking down Mr. Hyde, yes, that Mr. Hyde, in Paris. We learn more about Van Helsing, his motivations, and abilities in his first 9 lines of dialogue than I learned watching a whole season of The Acolyte. Anyway, there's a decently fun CGI fight thanks to the same software used to create the Lord of the Rings CGI, so it still looks decent even by today's standards. And after this, it's back to Rome to have a chat with a guy from every period drama ever, who tells him he needs to head to the perfect place for a Monster Hunter movie, Transylvania, because he needs to kill Dracula and save Selene from Underworld. So in preparation, he gets geared up by a captain of Gondor who wants to prove the quality of his weapons, and decides that what the hell, it's best to bring the nerd along because he might need him later. Anyway, they wind up in horror movie land and meet Selene from Underworld before they get attacked by the Brides of Dracula, and after yet another fairly decent CGI fight where we learn that Dracula has turned a bunch of Selene's relatives into vampires, which begs some questions about the old boy's proclivities. Anywho, moving on, that aside, things begin to culminate when they find out that Dracula is plotting something big, and they need to deal with him before he pulls off said big thing. I'm gonna cut my sorta kinda plot synopsis short here because I don't want to spoil the plot too much. So let's talk about the acting. Kate Beckinsale plays Kate Beckinsale, which I'm not going to complain about because she's hot and I'm a red-blooded male. What do you want from me? Hugh Jackman is himself, which means he's playing a slightly loose cannon badass, which he does perfectly well, and David Wenham is actually displaying an extremely large amount of range here in this movie. You wouldn't think of Faramir as good comic relief, but he is absolutely amazing in this role. Richard Roxburgh is another standout as Dracula, and while this movie is fresh, uncut cheese of the highest variety, he leans into it very well. The cinematography is pretty good. Some of the shots have aged well, while others definitely haven't. The writing is decent for what it is, and I'm not going to lie and tell you, once again, that it's Shakespeare or anything of that nature, but overall, it's a fun, cheesy movie to watch when you're nursing a cold. Now, if you'll pardon me, I need to go find my copy of Solomon Kane that this film ripped off, and I will see you all Sunday, possibly. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a comment, and until next time, this has been Pete the Heretical Nerd, signing off.